So, yeah, like, you know, I've been reading the Walking Dead comic book now. And yeah, I was really shocked to find out that the thing with zombies in the TV series, where the idea is that the zombies never existed in popular culture, it doesn't actually... That's not a thing in the comic book. Like, from the first couple of pages, Glenn, when you first meet him, calls them zombies. And they refer to them as zombies. So, I found that quite interesting.
Is it, sorry, just checking. I actually found it. Is it, so, does he call them zombies because zombies do exist in this universe? Or
well, yeah, I guess
is it supposed to be like we ignore?
Quite an extreme, like, that is not a word you would come up with on the fly.
Yeah, oh yeah, true, because I think it has like a German, or not German origin.
Haitian
origin, yeah. I know, so...
Wow.
Because that's something I really liked the idea of, and I thought it was quite good because, like, even though, like, I mean, zombies are quite popular now.
Yeah.
Over here, and even though that's kind of largely been fueled by stuff like the Walking Dead TV series, like, zombies have come into, you know, popular culture and the mainstream, like, quite often, like, you know, with things like when Night of the Living Dead came out, and then you had, like, 20, 30 years later, had the Dawn of the Dead.
I think...
They're the ones I mean.
Yeah.
And so everyone's always had their zombie survival plan and how to kill a zombie conversation, or anyone cool has had that conversation. Anyone worth knowing has. I should say.
Zombie elitist of you.
Yeah, so it's kind of like one of the things, I thought was good with the Walking Dead series is if you remove that, then it's like, people said their reactions to it.
Yeah, it changes, it makes it more believable. You know, people don't know what's going on. Whereas today, in our world, people would know exactly what's going on very quickly. And I think that knowledge would mean that it wouldn't spread very fast. It's stuff like everyone's infected is something that really helps the Walking Dead TV series as well. And I'm not sure if that's a thing in the comic book. I haven't got that far. But it's something that really helps the TV series with the fact that anyone who dies of anything can become a zombie. So any like group of survivors at the beginning, say you have an old lady with you whose heart gives out, and she turns the entire group of survivors, you know, without warning as well.
And I think it's kind of weird, like, if you have a zombie apocalypse in a world where zombies are known. I mean, can you imagine if that happened in our real world?
Yeah.
And people went like, you have to shoot the head, and it was just a, like, form of rabies, like, that was treatable, but everyone would jump to zombies and suddenly be like, no, you need to shoot them in the head, and they're gonna eat your flesh, and it's like, not like that.
Just murdering these people who've got this severe illness that's affected their brain.
Yeah.
Just en masse. Our culture of zombie bad kill. Yeah. To be fair though, I think there's been like not like to that degree, but cases of people with like really bad mental illness, or someone who's been taking like PCP and gone on a bit of a rage, you know?
Yeah.
And they've been mistaken for zombies and killed. You know? It's fucked up. Really fucked up. Think about how many nerds are just waiting for it as well.
Like I would happily let my family die so that they can have a crack at the apocalypse. Like, it's messed up.
I get the fantasy of it though, honestly. The idea of being either the leader of the team, you know, suddenly you discover this like great sense of power within you, you know, in an extreme survival situation. Or like the lone wanderer survivor who like is out on his own or her own. I get the romanticized idea of it.
Yeah.
But oh my god, the idea of trying to survive on my own, like in real, is terrifying.
Practically, it sort of fucks up a bit. But I think like what's quite interesting, and this sort of applies I think to me and probably quite a few people with the apocalypse fantasy, zombie fantasy, is like zombies have often been, I'm trying to think, was it Night of the Living Dead or Dawn of the Dead, where zombies were kind of a metaphor for population and consumerism and that kind of thing.
I think it's both of those movies. They're both made by the same guy.
Yeah, I think there's a book as well But yeah, there's quite a few portrayals. There is.
I'm not sure if I think the movie may have come first though.
Oh no, not this is a different book.
Oh, okay.
Which I can't remember the title of. But anyway, because there's so many different portrayals where zombies are supposed to kind of represent, urban population and mass consumerism, and kind of mindless going about, like churning of human life. I think what's quite interesting is like part of the fantasy for a zombie apocalypse is suddenly all this shit that was important, like your stuff, and I don't know, your home insurance and your commute to work and all the little bits of crap in life, and having to go to like your aunt's cousin's wedding and all this shit that we have to do that's kind of like
all of it goes away and you're free.
Like buying of crap, it's suddenly all stripped away from you, and it's just
and you're free to do what you want to survive. It's kind of complete. Yeah, again, I think everyone has that in them to some degree, that fantasy of basically being able to do whatever you want without really any ramifications. Like, life becomes a lot more simple.
Yeah, I think it's the simplicity of it that's appealing to me, which is what I think is quite like funny with the zombies supposed to be being about what we become.
Yeah.
It's just like I said, mindless consumer culture and all this kind of stuff, and then the fantasy of it happening is that people want simplicity.
I find it depressing though, when you really think about it, the idea of it came from the fear of mindless consumerism and all that kind of stuff. But it's only perceived mindless consumerism because you're looking at it from your point of view, which is the thousands of people you see like mindlessly going in and out of shop buying stuff they don't need and all that.
Like I just
stuff.
did.
Yeah.
I got some really cool Sharpies that are in the sale.
But my point though is that those people, they're not mindless. They're only mindless from your point of view because you're not experiencing their life. You're not experiencing their thoughts, their feelings, their hopes, their dreams. They just seem like mindless faces who you'll never interact with, you'll never know. So they just seem like background characters to your life. And I think it reflects something really disgusting in us, that we all think we're the protagonist of our own personal kind of story, and that all those other people are just like background players, the NPCs, ones who don't even have a side story. They're just there, they're filler, and we're the heroes. And I think that's really disturbing, the fact that we're so ready to take up that way of thinking, to take up that mindset.
I think though, like, that fantasy, just like a lot, is necessary, is how we deal with, I mean, it's like,
oh yeah, it helps us deal with the mundanity of life.
The downside of rather mundanity or stress of life. Like, I mean, for example, on the mindless thing, like right now this weekend, I have been stressing about making this trifold presentation board for Monday, and it really doesn't matter. We've drove an hour now to get this particular board because I tried to make one last night and it looked shit. And you know what? It really doesn't matter if the board doesn't look great. It really doesn't matter if the papers don't match. But to me, I'm so stressed, and that is like, it's not important. But that's what it is. So I think the fantasy of that, just all this little shit going away.
That part, I think, though, the part of like dramatizing your own life, right? I think that is important. I think that keeps you sane. But it's the byproduct of that, which is, I don't know, feeling like other people just aren't as important as you are. That's the damaging part. That's the part that's worrying to me, because I've done it, and I did it for a very long time. I locked myself away from the world, and I did it. And when you think about it objectively, I spent about 4 or 5 years of my life locked in my bedroom playing video games. It's not the most interesting, like, life-affirming thing to do, but in my mind, I was special because, I can only see the world through my perspective. And it took a long time for me to snap out of that, to really see how unimportant and minuscule I was, and that everyone has rich, complicated lives.
Yeah,
everyone's life is just as complicated and deep as my own, and I was being really childish. And
you were a child, you're a teenager.
Yeah, exactly.
You're entitled to that.
But the problem is when people take that forward into their adult life, that mindset, being an angsty teenager, that's kind of what you're expected to do. But after the fact, you're meant to realise that, you're not the most important person in the world, and other people are there, and they might need you, and you might need them. But be happy, you know, and to work together.
But I mean, yeah. But I mean, like, you know, on the mass consumer point of it,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, capitalism is a thing, like where I've come from, like Hong Kong.
Yeah.
It's a really big thing. But even here in Britain, you know, they use the expression keeping up with the Joneses, this stress about having to constantly compete and constantly get. And even like, I mean, if you think of the example of like this week, us Fallout Shelter microtransactions.
Yeah.
Just constantly buying these lunch boxes for our shelters. And they kind of got a bit out of control this week. You have a you are hooked with microtransactions, which is they are taking advantage.
I hate that part of myself.
But that's what it's like. Human beings, a lot of them, and you are one of them. Is it's like you can dangle these little carrots, and it's like you feel this impulse of I must buy this thing. I must get it, and you would feel physically stressed until you get it. But it's not over because the next day later you realize your shelter's got bigger, and now it's like, oh, I want to build it. I need to buy another one. I need to get, but now I have all this stuff. I need another Mr. Handy, and it goes on
and on and on. That's why I've stopped playing it right now.
And I think this is an example of it, of that kind of constant grinding of consumerist culture, which we live in. A lot of the world lives in, not all of it, but
yeah.
And I think to quote like Genesis here, you know, there is too many men, and there's too many people, and they're making too many problems, and there is not enough left to go around. It is.
They've been waiting so fucking long.
I know. It makes sense though, right? Like. But we just keep, again, I'm addressing the negative part of the human race there, and I know it's kind of bad just to focus on the negative, but I'm only doing it for the purposes of, because zombies are representing two negative aspects of the human race. We're not talking about it, that's the context we're talking about it, human race in. So we are, like, raping the planet, if you get what I mean.
That's quite extreme imagery.
To fuel this constant consumerist culture and nature that we live in. We could destroy ourselves because we can't get a grip and just stop and just, like, what do we need? What's important? Strip it down, streamline a bit, make it more simple. And I think that's what zombies are, and it is a real thing.
I do get your point.
So the idea of, like,
I gotta be honest,
escape that.
Though, it's one of those things where I'm a bit more of an optimist with, that I think technology will get to a point where we'll be able to make everything we want at a lot less of the cost to the planet, and financially even, and to the cost to other people as well. I think we're more likely to, you know, we're smart enough that we'll probably end up finding a way to continue our consumerist lifestyle at a fraction of the cost than to give it up, you know?
Yeah, and that's what...
And I think that's probably the best way to go for everyone as well.
And I think that's another thing that appeals to me about the zombie apocalypse, because when I really obviously think about it, really, I don't want an apocalypse of any kind, and I am optimistic about the human race overall. But it's like, you know, if you take solar powered energy, which is actually one of the most shittier forms as far as it doesn't produce as much energy as lots of other forms.
It can work. It's just
green energy now.
Very specialized, like making it in a desert and making an entire like field of them.
This is the thing, like, out of the green energy, it's one of the most less efficient, but there is, I think, I read this example of this one desert in America, I think.
Yeah.
South America. If you fill that desert with solar panels, which are environmentally friendly to make, but in the long run, you filled it with solar panels, it could harness less than 1% of the sun's energy. That is enough energy for the whole world. We can make solar panels.
No, I've heard about this. This is in Africa, though, this is North Africa, but it would literally be the size of, like, Wales.
Yeah, but...
It's massive, like...
it's massive, and obviously we don't have to shove it all in one desert. That's a bit stupid.
It would be the biggest man-made construction in existence.
But what I mean is we have all these forms of energy, but... And we could be doing so much better.
Yeah.
But what it comes down to is money.
Well,
it's that people don't like, and it's like, you know, like oil companies and shit like that, and they don't want to, and just shit, like penny lobbyists. Remember, like the penny costs more to make, cost to buy, and then they need lobbyists to keep it going. It makes no sense. It's wasteful. It's stupid. But we want. But I think it comes down to they want the penny. Like one of the big things is, you know, when you can make something $1.99.
Yeah.
The psychology of buying.
Yeah, there's
that is one of the things.
But there's also like a lot of people who rely on the industry for wages.
I know, but
people whose job is to make pennies, you know, and it's like.
But they can make parts with solar panels.
The steel in Britain, the steel industry in Britain, where it's cheaper to buy it and import it from abroad than it is to make it at home. But you know, there's a lot of people kicking up stink because they're going to lose their jobs, and they have all the right in the world to kick up stink because that's their livelihood going.
Yeah, and it is awful, but what annoys me about it is a lot of the time if you take an industry like that and you basically gradually shutting it down to replace it. Let's say we shut down some of the fuel industries, right?
Yeah.
And replace it with green ones, right? Obviously a lot of jobs will be lost, and you can't just switch from coal mining to wind farm building. It's a different skill, right? But a lot of it could be prevented, a lot of the loss and the trouble for the lower end employees could be prevented if the big, massive corporation at the top sacrifices some of its profit.
Well, yeah, obviously.
But they don't want to sacrifice their profit. But we are going through a phase of mass extinction that is man's fault.
Yeah.
We are raising, global warming is a thing, that happens anyway, but we are really screwing it up.
It's completely
We are causing all kinds of natural disasters and floods, and then we have refugees from that and all these problems. But it just, if those people just, weren't so greedy, essentially, if people weren't so, and even at this moment, if people just weren't so greedy, if people
the problem is it's a basic human instinct to want more, and so it's very difficult to, it's been proven that people who suddenly come into a lot of money, they change, they become entitled, they act like they deserve it, even if they got it from, the lottery. It's just something in us that, the greed gene or whatever, something about us that makes us...
Yeah, because it's the thing about when you get money is, with the money can't buy happiness argument, where money can buy happiness to a certain point.
Yeah.
And then it stops, essentially, and any more than that, you don't buy happiness with it.
Yeah, because...
You can't.
Yeah, you've gotten to the point where there's no more you can do with the money at that point, apart from accrue more money.
I think you lose, I can't remember how much it is. I think it's something like, it's confusing because I think it's an American study and I'm trying to put it into pounds. But I mean, lower end people, these figures aren't exact, I'm trying to remember this, but for example, the kind of jobs that we've worked in, you're looking at about 12, maybe even less, £12,000 a year wages. I think if you get to, I think it's like 48,000?
I think it's like 30,000.
Or 38,000? We'll call it £40,000 then.
Okay.
Somewhere around £40,000. If you, going from the 10 to 40, the people's happiness gets higher and higher. But when they've reached that standard of living, I think what happens is they don't appreciate, for example, if we had a job and we earned more money, for example, and we could afford to go on a holiday every year, abroad, which we can't do now. I would get happiness out of that. But I think when you get to that level, because you can do that, it's the things you want change. You lose the ability to look back and be like, oh, we can now do this, or oh, I can now afford that really nice coffee, and instead of always having to use the instant, I can buy Heinz instead of Aldi's own, yay, that goes away. You become, like you said, entitled. And
I think it depends on what you kind of base your happiness on, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the studies kind of...
Yeah, if you decide you're going to travel the world and do charitable projects in Africa or something, then at that point then you're not really affected in the same way. I think it's for sedentary people, people who want to stay in the same place, and
Oh, I think it's sorry, I'll let you finish.
I don't think it takes into account intent with the money, I think it takes people who live the standard life of, you live in this location, your kids go to this school, you work at this place, because if you take into account the people who just constantly move around the world, going to all these different exotic locations, then your happiness is based off something else at that point.
Yeah, I think the idea is actually, now I remember it, is if you earn, I think it's below this 40,000 mark, people are worried about, not in Britain because we have the NHS, but affording healthcare for their family.
Yeah.
Wanting your kids to go to a good school and get a good education, being able to afford your rent, your car breaks down, you want to be able to afford to fix your car. You have these worries about all the things, food and utilities and housing and schooling and job security. You have all these worries that when you earn so much money, you no longer have to worry. You can afford your healthcare comfortably. You're not always living, if you're not living paycheck to paycheck, I think that's what it's meant to be, is you remove the worries with the money.
Yeah.
But then your desires change, and you the natural instinct to want above your means again kicks in, but it's no longer stressing to be able to afford healthcare, it's stressing about being able to afford more luxury things. And I think I have to share a personal example of this sort of thing is my mother, when I was born, my mum had me, I think she worked in a part-time, like, low-income job.
Yeah.
We lived in a council property. You know, it was difficult for her. She was earning very little money. She was trying to raise, you know, me on her own sort of thing.
Very difficult time.
She was trying to finish her education. And then, again, really proud of my mum. My mum and my dad, you know, got together and they worked really hard. And, like, I saw it growing up. You know, we sort of moved from that. Must have been, I was too young to remember, quite a scary situation for my mum, I think. And then she moved into, like, the standard, like, I guess where we are, where it's like, don't really have enough money for the car to break down, don't really have enough money for the rent to increase, but we're okay if these things don't happen. And she slowly moves up and up, and I think her happiness and her security and comfort raised up and up and up. But now they're at a level, my dad sort of started his own company years ago and was like worked his way up, and it's kind of paying off now, you know?
Yeah.
But now the people that they socialise and mingle with, like, you know, my dad, because of the kind of work he does, spends a lot of time with, like, lawyers, and the area we live, there's a lot of pilots and, like, doctors. So you're mingling with people who are, again, leaps and bounds above and it's normally through my dad's, things like my dad's work. He mingles with these people, and my mom mingles with these people, they make friends with these people. So all of a sudden now, like, if you know what I mean, like, I suppose they live in a different culture and they are on the bottom again. They don't live in the culture that they were when I was born or when I was little. Like,
I mean, that's because they specifically moved to a different country, though.
Like, going out for dinner, I think, for example, that was something, again, when I was little, was not going to happen. And, you know, I think as I was growing up, it was like a very special treat. You go out for dinner if it was a birthday or something like that. But now my parents could afford to go out for dinner probably, like, every week if they wanted to, quite comfortably. So the enjoyment of going out for dinner is no longer a thing. So going out for dinner in like a really posh hotel is now the new standard. And my parents aren't materialistic or stuff like that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, when you reach that level, again, you're at the bottom rank because you're mingling in a different sector. So I think there's that cutoff. Yeah. And I think my parents are an example of, like, people who've reached that kind of cutoff.
I agree.
And they just dumped me at the bottom of the ladder.
Really?
I'm joking.
Wow. You chose to fall
Sorry, Mom.
down that ladder. Slumming it with me, you know.